Yes, I'd like to place a parlay for Taylor Swift to be in attendance and Travis Kelce to play with that ankle injury. Yeah. Oh, you're saying there's too much correlation? It's only minus 110? Forget it. Welcome back to the Green Beans Go channel. It's your host, me, and we have a primetime matchup between Sierra and Taylor Swift. It does not get much better than that, especially not on the football field, because the Broncos come to Kansas City in what could be another primetime blowout. What were the schedule makers doing? I do not know. They thought Sean Payton and Russell Wilson would be a match made in heaven, but instead we have a match made in Kansas City with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. His ankle's hurt. Will she be there? I don't know. But let's talk about all that right now. But before we do, you probably had to watch an ad on this video, which is outrageous because I'm not seeing $1 of that. Hit subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Get me to 1,000 so I can start collecting a check. Again, this was probably a matchup that preseason people thought was going to be entertaining with Russell Wilson in that high-powered potential offense with Sean Payton, who had so much success with Drew Brees. It's not looking that way. We do have an 80-degree night in Kansas City. That is actually tremendously warm for October, but the one thing I want to point to you is this: 16-mile-an-hour wind with gusts up to 35 miles per hour. So if you're taking the over, I don't blame you, but just be aware that the offenses could struggle in the air with this one. As for season records for both of these teams, the Broncos have 1 win against the Bears and 4 losses. And if you'll notice, they've allowed 17 points, 35 points, 70 points, 31 points, and 28 points in a loss. So they are allowing a tremendous amount of points, and they are scoring an okay amount, 21, 28, 20, 33, 16. Like, their offense is okay. It's not been fantastic, but their defense just can't keep them in any games. As for the Chiefs, we see a loss week 1, and then they win 4 in a row. 2 things I want to point out. The first is the one-score games. One-score game, 31, one-score game, and a loss. So they play teams close, and I'll also point out that they're led by their defense this year, which is not something we're used to seeing for this Chiefs team. 20 points allowed, 20 points allowed, 10 points allowed, 9 points allowed, 21 points allowed. So they've only allowed over 20.5 one time, and that came at home against the Lions. So, you could look at this and say, well, we're talking about the Bears, the Jets, and the Vikings. Those aren't teams that jump off the page, which is fair. But it also tells me maybe the Chiefs are not as good as people are claiming. Second most likely team to win the Super Bowl behind the Niners, but I just am not convinced quite yet on this Chiefs team. Looking at the numbers for this one, Broncos, if you like them on the money line, plus 450 on Barstool. If you like the Chiefs, minus 560 on a Canby book. The spread is 10.5, and the over-under is 47.5. Look, guys, I don't know. I think both of those are very sharp. I think this wind could affect things, so maybe the under. But also, I'm not going to endorse an under on any Broncos games. 10.5. I got nothing. Looking at my script and leans, I do have this as a 21-28 game. It's a little bit risky, I understand, because this is a Broncos game. They could get blown out by the Kansas City Chiefs. But again, I don't think this is the same Chiefs offense that we've seen in years past. So I like this one to be actually rather close. A divisional primetime game. We know those can get funky. Bottom line for the Broncos, they cannot stop the run. They haven't been able to stop the run, and I don't think they will stop the run. But will the Chiefs run the ball as much as they should with the wind blowing, with the matchup they have? Who knows? The Broncos do have a pretty pass-heavy offense. And I don't know if that's just because they find themselves trailing more often than not, or because their running back, Javonte Williams, was hurt. He is back this game. So, look to get him involved maybe, but I'm still not going to make any predictions as far as that goes. However, the one key piece of information in this one is the Russell Wilson primetime multiplier. This guy is lights out in primetime. I'm sorry. Okay, I watched it for 10 years in Seattle. He has a 72% win percentage, and his QBR is 103, which is 4th ever among primetime quarterbacks who've played a minimum of 15 primetime games. So take that for what you will. I think if there's one game that Russell Wilson rights the ship, if Denver changes the narrative of what this team is, if Sean Payton gets these guys back on track, it is their biggest game of the year in primetime in Kansas City. Call me crazy. As for the Chiefs, why would Isaiah Pacheco not run 20 times? His rush line is 16.5 right now. The only way I think he doesn't hit over 16.5 is if they give it to Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Jerick McKinnon. They have no reason to pass this ball, ever. It's going to be 30-mile-an-hour winds, and the Broncos can't stop the run. But you know Andy Reid, you know Patrick Mahomes, they're going to get cute, and they're probably going to throw it. So we'll see. My second point is, does Kelce even need to play in this one? I say no. Will he? Probably. Will Taylor Swift be there? Probably. He should rest. He should sit out. He should rehab that ankle, but I don't think he will. Lastly, I said it at the beginning of this scripts and leans part. I don't think the Chiefs are the same offense. I don't think they're as explosive. I think they've been beneficiaries of close calls at the end of games that have gone their way, and I think they've been beneficiaries of a pretty easy schedule thus far. And I don't think it gets harder in this game, but I certainly think there is, some matchups that Wilson, Sean Payton can exploit in this one. Before we get to my 2 profit boost plays, if you want to support me in any way besides subscribing, liking, and commenting on this video, SoBet is an app. I call it Twitter for handicappers. It is a place where sports betting content creators are invited to come share their information, share their content. Only people who are invited to this platform can post, but anyone can join. So if you join SoBet, it's $10 a month. Use my code GMG. I get a portion of that, and you get access not only to my content, but other sports bettors' content. So if you want to support me in any way, head on over, check out that app, try it for a month. If you like it, great. If not, no pressure. We have 2 profit boost plays. One is on DraftKings. It's a 50% boost, and I'm taking Russell Wilson to have 2 passing touchdowns. This line is plus money unboosted, so I'm going to boost it even more. And getting it at that price, plus 320, I think is fantastic. The Chiefs have given up 2 passing touchdowns in their last 2. Yes, the wind is working against us, but I think the game script is working for us. They're going to have to score a lot of points, I think, to keep up with the Chiefs, who I project will have 28 points. So give me 2 passing touchdowns for primetime Russ. And finally, the Broncos have gone over this total in all of their games except one. So over 17.5 for the Broncos in this one. I plus money I like. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire, we know that the Broncos can't stop the run. I don't like Pacheco's number. It's minus 135. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire, you can get at plus 460 to score a touchdown. I like that a lot. So give me those 2 parlayed together at 15-1 using the boost. That is what I'm riding with for this Thursday night. As always, guys, thank you for stopping by. These videos are just for fun. I love talking about sports. I love talking about sports betting. I hope you can leave with a piece of information you did not know when you walked into this video. You don't have to tail my bets, but hey, if you do, let's ride. Good luck, and we'll see you next time on the channel.